All right, welcome guys. This is Bryan here. I want to talk about one of the quickest ways to help optimize your overall athleticism. And in one dimension, this will help you integrate your body if that's something you're not used to. But on another dimension, it'll just help you unlock different levels within yourself that you can explore more in your own time, right? And the simple answer is, what's the one thing, what's the one tool that we can just practice in a very natural way, and it can help us? It's our breathing, okay? So I want you to imagine all these muscles in that core area, how much your breath is integrated into your day-to-day life, okay? You don't think about it, but these muscles, in order to open through my ribs, drop my diaphragm, even the muscles of the pelvic floor, opening and expanding, I have to sort of have a presence. Otherwise, I'm going to keep the energy up in my lungs. If my awareness is not so much thinking that way, which is a lot of what happens to a lot of people. We get into a subconscious pattern and we're not realizing that we're breathing very shallow. We're breathing using the muscles of our neck. So you want to think about breathing into the ribs, opening up through the ribs. You can even practice putting the hands there to help you open up, and at the same time, you're allowing pressure to drop, okay? This is a great way to also work in terms of like your core stability using a bit of that bracing technique, but it also will help you just unlock those muscles so you can breathe more naturally, even through different movements, and you can integrate some of this respiratory control into other things. In other words, those muscles themselves become stronger, your breathing becomes stronger. Now, again, those muscles are going to help integrate into the entire core. So by affecting essentially your breathing and integrating that more with your core, you're making your core stronger, but you're also upping your athleticism because your breathing is now better. It's naturally expanding and contracting more efficiently. Those muscles are working more on their own and have become stronger. The muscle memory, the connection is stronger. And so when you consciously activate that, now, again, you're even able to take it up another step, okay? So the last thing to think about is that one of the most important things in terms of exercise is circulation. And that's one of the keys to understanding health, of course, right? Oxygen circulation. So breathing is very, very key in terms of getting that oxygen into the body. But even further so, our breath itself really can help circulate the blood. It actually helps to create this pressure gradient. And the vacuum effect of the lungs expanding and contracting itself is actually contributing to the overall effect of actually circulating and pumping that blood. So when you think it's all on your heart, right? Yes, your heart is helping to pump and keep the rhythm, but in many ways, it's this entire system together with your breath and even the negative, essentially the vacuum that's created in the closed system that's helping to circulate and pull the blood. And essentially the lungs themselves are helping to create that expansion and contraction, even into all those smaller areas where the arteries turn to capillaries, turn back into veins, okay? So allowing that circulation to increase, right? You're not just thinking two-dimensionally, you're actually thinking, well, I'm not just taking in more air. I'm actually, as I'm breathing, I'm helping to circulate and move that, right? It's similar to some of the key gong movements that we do and that you see a lot of others doing, is becoming more popular in terms of integrating that into mainstream movement and wellness. I'll leave you guys with one more of my favorite one that can, again, help you to work on these respiratory muscles, okay? We're just going to do some arm swings. There's a couple different variants out there. There's a lot of people, again, that are sharing this kind of stuff, which is great. I just want you to find your comfort, find your rhythm. On this one, we're going to come all the way up by bending our knees, coming onto our toes, and then dropping down to our heels, breathing in and out. In as the lungs open. And we're dropping the hands, swinging, creating that pendulum-like motion to help stimulate the flow, the circulation, add a little momentum, centrifugal force essentially to help pull that blood at the same time while we're opening the lungs, pulling in oxygen, and then closing, breathing out. So it's actually literally generating a pump. It's generating a system like a vacuum, like a turbine essentially, where we're creating a gradient through the body. That pressure is actually helping up the efficiency. So again, one of the main reasons why exercise is so important, how the vagus nerve gets stimulated through this process, through these vibrations, these reverberations, and essentially this pressure, right? Similar to how the fascia itself is piezoelectric. It is stimulated by pressure. So same thing. We're stimulating our fascia, we're creating energy, we're circulating that energy and that pressure back up, okay? So we're allowing the actual energy through our body, through our spine to come back up into our brain, okay? And again, that's just why, like, say for instance, you feel tired. Happens a lot. I see people come in, clients, they're not feeling like quite up to it, but you get warmed up, we get into the workout, or you go through your workout, you come to the gym, you make it half hour later, hour later, you're walking out, and suddenly you check back in with yourself and you realize your energy is now uplifted. You feel better. You feel a little bit lighter. You may be hungry. You may be tired in terms of your muscles are a little bit more worn out. But that's why essentially even just microdosing, as we call them, the movement snacks of the industry now is like a great term that's been coined out there as far as how to integrate into your day-to-day more movement, more circulation, more blood flow. More blood flow is going to mean more wellness and health moving throughout the body, and obviously getting that energy back up to the brain to help power the brain, right? So think of it all as one system tied together, definitely the integrated health. And again, guys, there's lots of approaches out there. It doesn't mean anything's like 100% perfect, or there's not something you can take from everybody. But it really comes down to what are your goals. And longevity is something that's becoming more important. And also, I think people understanding the capabilities of the body naturally are greater than we understand in many ways, but we're still unlocking that potential, okay? So it takes the ability to actually explore and pull that energy out. A lot of times our mindset is tied into so much more than we even realize. So that's what I would encourage you to explore. Really challenge yourself, challenge your mindset, see what's possible, okay? And it doesn't mean you can't implement other tools. You know, you can't look at your wellness based upon your own individual lens. Everybody should. But I think I encourage people to have that open mindset to really actually believe what's, because if you can't envision it, if you can't imagine that it's possible, then again, it won't be, okay? If you can't see yourself having that energy, if you can't see yourself crushing it in some way that you want to, and again, you have to align with the values, right? You won't be able to get there. But the point being is that that's not your value system. You might value other things, right? And that's where it comes down to a bit to the individual and understanding the greater system at large that we're a part of. Obviously, as humans, we're connected to nature. So getting back into nature is always a key component. It's essentially also the work in or the other side, the rest, restore, recover side of things. So we're going to need to incorporate that with that is meditation, whether that's getting into the sauna, doing some stretching, some cool down, some recovery, some rope flow, all great stuff. So hopefully, guys, covers a few great things for you to incorporate. Think about more about how breathing can help you tie in your core strength and also improve your overall wellness, your health, your clarity, your energy, your mindset by bumping that circulation up, helping get more oxygen through the body, but also increasing the pressure gradients through the body and strengthening that muscle memory, that internal reflex over time. That is your breathing, that is your spark, your life force, okay? So we want to keep that vital and strong, and actually consciously breathing is one of the simplest ways. You've always had this capability. Now you can just unlock it a little bit further. See you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.